everyone.
Welcome to our podcast channel.
Rina YouTube 拜登了 I am 校华
I'm Xiao Chao.
Today we are going to share an interesting topic.
What's the interesting topic today?
来
Blowing is with water?
No
Blow water.
No You don't know man
I don't know.
风水
Oh, Feng Shui.
Yes.
Oh,
Right.
Okay, so let's get connected with our
风
Feng
水
Shui
master
master.
Reno 又出拍梗了。
They call it 天地人. It is best that we choose a good timing so that we are aligned. Does it mean that you hang a picture of a waterfall or a Pacific Ocean and you say that it is water? No, that is a picture. When I say water, it means real water. And how do I digest the earth element? Go to the sports shop and get dumbbells. I will ask them to actually buy a safe. Tongtu basically means to choose a certain location which has been identified.
Hi everyone, welcome to Reno Tender's podcast today. And then I'm Wendy, I'm your host for today. So may we welcome our guest today, our Master Kenko from House of Feng Shui.
Thank you, Wendy. Thank you. And thank you for having me on Reno Tender. Right?
Okay, so like Master, I was also wondering, thank you for answering all the queries about our general Feng Shui that we might have. Because sometimes we really don't know how to apply it.
Sure.
Yeah, and we're very happy to know like the modern ways that we can actually use it, right? So, but I have some questions that are real life questions that I got from my friends.
I think that'll be interesting. Yes,
So our
please.
listeners would probably, want to know. So, can I ask you, right? One of the common questions, right? Can your bed head be adjacent to the wall, separating the kitchen and the bedroom?
So your question is, can the headboard
Yes, the headboard of the bed.
be against the wall that is separating the bedroom
Yep,
and the kitchen?
correct.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, until and unless you've got no choice. I always say this, flexibility is very important,
Okay.
isn't it? If you've got no choice, well, I would say it causes little harm if exactly back to back to your headboard
Yep.
is the stove.
Oh,
Let's say.
there is no harm if it's
Actually,
stove.
actually means if it is the stove that is back to back, well, I would advise to see whether there's an alternative. If the stove is not back to back and this is a kitchen wall,
Yeah.
that's fine.
So what does the stove? So the stove represents fire, is it? So that's why.
Well, more than fire.
Okay.
The stove represents health actually within the house. Yes, yes. The stove is representative. In the past, the stove is the most guarded kind of space within the house because it provides good health for the whole family.
Okay.
All right. So you don't want it in a way to be disturbed. Disturb means basically, design in a haphazard way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for the main purpose of things in home design and all this kind of stuff, I'll say most of the time people may not design a house in such a way that the bedroom wall is actually back to back against the kitchen. Most of the time, I'll say. Yeah. So unless and until there is no alternatives, maybe you can call in a professional Feng Shui master and they will actually advise you even better in this.
Yeah, I'm sure there are ways to like try and refract the energy,
For sure.
and so on. Yeah.
For sure.
So can I also ask you, like because elements of fire and water, right?
Yes.
So one of our listeners was asking, can the hob and the sink or washing machine be placed opposite? Since like fire and water will like clash.
Yes. So there is a water and fire clash.
Yeah.
The point here is it is important to understand what clashes what,
Okay.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, when I ask people, they say, oh, fire clash water. I say, how could it be? It's water clashing fire. Isn't it?
Oh.
Water puts out the fire, isn't it?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so what is affected? The stove is affected. And therefore, if the fire stove is placed directly opposite, and you must know what is the meaning of opposite. Opposite means directly opposite the stove.
Yes, okay.
All right. If your stove is in line, which most apartments come with, it is not a problem.
Okay.
It is not a problem. This is called in line,
Yeah.
not directly opposite.
Yeah.
So back to this opposite. If the water sink is actually clashing against the fire, which is a stove, then it will affect the health of the family.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yes, there's some care and consideration that needs to be done
Yeah.
when it comes to designing the stove location.
Okay. Yeah, but I guess luckily that nowadays, like when our floor plans don't usually have the opposite, you know.
Matter of fact is, when there are a lot of developers actually go into Feng Shui. As early as about 20 years ago,
Okay.
they've actually gotten smart, and they know that there are a lot of people who are into this Feng Shui thing. They try their very best and to work with the architects to make it such that the phasing is correct, the design is correct, so that it's not, their purpose is to make sure they sell all the houses, of course.
Okay.
Not so much for the Feng Shui quality of that individual houses. But given due respect, I think they've done a good job.
Yeah.
In other words, I do not and have not seen any house so far that has got a stove that's directly opposite the sink.
I think it's really, really, really rare. Yeah.
That's
Okay.
right.
So I have one more question. This is about like the bedroom also, because I think a lot of people like wondering about the bed. You know, like how would they place the bed placement? So is there any special tips that we need to take note? Like
Sure.
maybe windows or doors?
Sure. First and foremost, let's talk about a bedroom. There are a couple of rules, simple rules. The first rule is you do not place a headboard against the window.
Oh, okay.
Why is that so? It's because if you place a headboard against the window, there is a lack of what we call a backing.
Okay.
So can you imagine? You're staying on the, let's say, as low as the 12th floor, and can you imagine that some people who stays on the 40th floor, all right? And you are sleeping in such a way that there's no headboard at your, where your pillow is, yeah? And worst of all, if you are sleeping it against the window, now don't you think, and I can be very sure, it's not just purely psychological. You get what we call a floating sensation.
Yeah, you feel like you have no security, you know?
Exactly. That's why it's conventional wisdom, and that wisdom is not wrong.
Yeah.
That they say, well, you got to put your head against the wall, back up against the wall. Now there's one more reason, and there's another explanation for this. What's the explanation? Because when you are sleeping, you are going into the alpha mode, the alpha state.
Okay.
That's in Western philosophy. But it's the same philosophy in Chinese.
In Chinese,
because we are going into the yin state.
Yeah.
Because yang means you are awake. Yin means you are sleeping. And the wall is also a yin state. So it actually complements.
Okay.
In other words, so there's a connection why we actually back up against the wall.
Okay,
right?
wow.
Now, second thing is, where you have a bed, and this does happen before, try not to flush it all the way against the window.
Not to flush it all against the window.
Not to flush the bed totally to the window or
Okay.
to one end of the room. What is that reason? That's because, again, when you are in the yin state of things, all right? Let's say it's a couple. Let's say a husband and wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, all right? There's this thing called the dragon side and the tiger side. What's the dragon side? Well, taking reference from where your headboard is, the left-hand side, all right, is actually meant for the male,
Oh.
the man, because this is called the green dragon.
男左女右。
对，男左女右. So a lot of people sometimes it's get confused. Is it right hand side where I'm sitting, sleeping, or looking at it? Well, I'll tell you the rules, guys. Very simple, especially for the guys. Just remember one thing. The golden rule is your wife or your girlfriend must be sleeping on the right-hand side. If you cannot remember that, just remember one more thing. Your wife and your girlfriend is always right.
That is true. That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Yep.
That is so true. Yeah.
And so you can't get it wrong.
Yep.
All right. So these are things which are applicable to a position of the bed. The last thing that I want to add on is the bed head should not be facing towards the bedroom door. Because
Okay.
there's going to be a lot of disturbances.
Yeah.
So
Not
when you're
directly,
sleeping,
right?
Yeah,
But you can
I mean,
be.
even part of it.
Yeah.
There also exists certain recommendations which are ridiculous because there are people who says, "Oh, I got to face my best direction." And what if the best direction is tilted at 30 degrees or 45 degrees? Do you tilt the bed at the 30 degree or 45? Trust me, I've gone to houses that's done that. I say put it back.
Yeah. So
Put it
weird.
back. It's
kind of
ridiculous.
weird. Yeah,
So
yeah,
don't do ridiculous things. Feng Shui is not meant for you to be ridiculed.
Yeah.
Feng Shui is not meant for you to go back home to and say, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
You know? So it must make sense.
Yeah.
That's what it is, Wendy.
Thank you. So I think those are like some common questions that we might have in mind, and I hope that also answered some of our listeners' doubts today. And okay, so I would like to ask, because Reno Tender is a platform whereby we incorporate AI. Actually, the platform is very interesting because we have like we actually guide the owners hand in hand to plan your house together so that you can create like a AI kind of like a plan for your house and then put it online for different companies to tender for it to get the best quote, but without divulging your personal information.
Oh yes, oh
Yeah,
yes.
that's
oh,
really,
yes.
really
Oh,
important.
yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah, so I was wondering, like in feng shui wise,
Yeah.
are there any like AI plans, on your site? Any things you can think about for applications of
Good point, Wendy. For one thing, we are moving into a time dimension, and most of you may have read about it online to say that you know that we're going into period 9, and period 9 is all about AI technology. All right, it's transparency basically.
Correct.
And would it be nice if you could, as a fresh homeowner or a first-time homeowner, for that matter, any homeowner that you've never encountered feng shui before, that you'll be able to understand a little bit of it by actually experimenting it yourself.
Yeah.
Using the same application of what the feng shui masters actually do, isn't it? So, on my part, I'm a firm and big believer of AI. Yeah, and that's the reason why actually at this point of podcasting, I'll say that we are in development stages to create a tool for homeowners, and this will be uploaded or connected or linked to Reno Tender very soon, before the end of the year, that you could actually, kind of import your floor plan, take your direction of your house physically when you're in a house.
Yep.
Yeah. Do a few clicks, plot over a chart, and you'll be able to tell what kind of feng shui your house gets. Plus, it's free. I
Yeah.
promise you.
So wow, it's very interesting. Like because I think a few years back we wouldn't have thought of all these technologies coming together and then helping us to plan our house. We still had to maybe manually, sit down and really plan it. So everything coming together is really a great convenience for all the homeowners.
Yes, of
Right.
course. Of course.
So just like to tell you all, if you are interested to find out more, how AI can play a part, and if you are thinking about renovating your home, you can also check out our renotender.com.sg. And once again, I would like to thank our Master Ken for enlightening us, because we really, I think especially the younger generation, we have a lot of doubts and a lot of questions about feng shui that I think were put in a very clear and concise way today by Master Ken. And then we also learned that we do not need to have the more traditional, or rather the more gold coins, things like that, that we might be afraid of to incorporate into our house design and everything.
Yes, indeed.
Right. So can we know, Master Ken, how do we get in touch with you?
Oh, I'm not selling here, but
Yep.
I think my website is on Reno Tender's Yeah, go to reno tender first.
Yeah.
Always, they come first. It's not me.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, and you'll find the link there.
Yeah. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
And thank you,
Master
Wendy.
Ken.
Thank you,
so
Reno
much.
Tender.
Yeah.
Thank you for this opportunity.
Hope that you guys can tune in for the next podcast. Thank
Thank you.
you.